Okay, so we got the other tractor out of here. It's sitting over here. We did that yesterday. Totally serviced all the filters. The shop's a mess, which kind of happens this time of year. I have boxes of filters absolutely everywhere. Batteries from last winter sitting around. So what I'm going to start with today. My goal for this is to do obviously a full service and get it all on video for anybody who might be interested in that. Anyways, so I'm gonna start with and hopefully break it up into parts, but I'm gonna start with the front axle and kind of just work my way back. Front axle and the planetaries. That's a 1,500 hour service recommendation by the book. I typically try to do it like 3-4 times a year. The axle, not the planetaries. Definitely, I do 3-4 times a year because they're always on the road, running up and down, full speed. So that's really important to me. You'll see when I start draining the metal filings and things that are going to come out of there. So that's why and gear oil is so cheap. And this is, you can't. It's like the easiest thing you could do. So that's why I do it that many times. Just to keep the front axles on the road, to replace the just one of the planetaries. You're going to spend, if you're lucky and find a used one, $2,300. So basically, in all that, what I'm saying is it's definitely worth changing your planetary oil. For the price it costs to change it. You can't go wrong. So I definitely do it. Probably like 300 hours is what I do on it. All right, so we're gonna come around the back side of the tractor where the access is, and we're gonna come through here. I have a 1/2-inch ratchet, and you're gonna locate your drain plug, which this one is right here. And obviously you want to have a drain pan underneath. This is gonna come out. I have not opened up the fill port yet because we're gonna do that after, and that's gonna allow for airflow through there so this can drain properly. So we're just gonna take this out. Should be able to thread it by hand now, like that. I'm just gonna take this and set it up here. That's gonna get cleaned afterwards. So as you can see, it's kind of just trickling out of there. And once we open up that drain plug in the front, it should come out like it's supposed to. So we're gonna come around here and open this up. It's tight in there. And this is just on the front of the pumpkin. You can see the air suck there, and now we're gonna have some good flow coming out of there. As you can see, it's still pretty decent looking gear oil, but like I said, I'm changing them pretty often. The axle's getting changed less often than than anything else. And these are magnetic, it pulls. You'll see on the end of them all that. That's why you want to take your time to clean it. Those are all metal fragments from the gears inside of this pumpkin. Okay, so this is the process that I'm going to use for both of these. I'm going to go ahead and first just start by wiping it off. These are the drain plugs. I'm going to do that. And then, like I said, there's a magnetic tip on there, so that's going to hold a lot of junk right there. And I'm just going to take this brake cleaner and I'm going to spray it like so. Just make sure it's cleaned up and all those metal fragments are off of there. And then just for ease and making sure it's gonna seal up well, I'm gonna clean out those threads and make sure all the grime and grit is out of there. Because eventually that stuff is gonna break down those threads and wear them right out to the point where you won't be able to get your plug in there anymore. So I'm gonna do that with both of those, and That's what you want to do. Just make sure they're good and clean. I'm going to do that with both of those and go ahead and pop them back in. All right, so now that we got the oil drained out of it and got the drain plug back in, we're going to go ahead and take our gear oil and start filling this up. I'm using 80/90 gear oil. And it's Traveler brand from Tractor Supply. I know that some oil like that isn't advised. You know, different brands or whatever. I know Case International would say not to use it. But as far as this oil, I mean, I change it so often and whatnot that I'm not even concerned about it. And that's just what I choose to do. I've never had any issues with this oil or anything. So, and I actually tend to use Tractor Supply brands across the board for everything except for hydraulic oil. My hydraulic oil I buy in bulk. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start filling this up, and once it overflows, I'll put the cap back on it. Okay, so now that we got this pumpkin filled up with gear oil, we're gonna go ahead and put this fill plug in and go ahead and tighten it down. Okay, so now that we got the front axle all straightened up, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the planetaries. I have my drain pan down here. You're obviously gonna need to pull the tractor forward to the point where your fill plug is sitting on the bottom, because that's also the drain plug. So yeah, it's easiest with two people. Roll the tractor forward till your plug's on the bottom. If not, a neat little tip for it is right where the plug is, all of it, go straight across or in a line, and make a little mark on the tire. And when that's facing all the way up, you'll be able to see it from the cab. When that's facing up, that's when you want to drain it. So we're going to go ahead, the same size plug, we're going to go ahead and just open these up. And I have a nifty little toy made out of an antifreeze can for these, just so I don't go crazy with everything. And I'm just going to set this right here, just so I don't get it all over my tires. It's not a huge deal, but on the other tractor, this actually fits right in there pretty well in between the rims, so I don't even have to hold it. These normally have some pressure behind them, so just want to hold onto the cap pretty good. So now that this stuff is draining out, you can see the quality of the oil here compared to the axle. Anyways, these you know, and they've obviously been sitting for the winter. We're working our way into spring now, but anyways, they hadn't been run with this oil in here for very long, but you can see the quality of it here compared to the other stuff. It's, you know, pretty milky, and you can definitely see the shininess of it with all your metal filings. So that's just a reminder, you know, how much of a beating these planetaries take and how important it is to keep clean oil in there. All right, so now I'm just going to go ahead and fill this full of fluid. Go ahead and take the reservoir, put it back, take the cap, put it back in, and then I'll go ahead and go around and do the other side here, and it's going to be the same process for the whole thing.